Session number 301. It's been a minute since I've seen y'all out here on Facebook and YouTube and all those places. We still been doing it. We just been kind of keeping it a little simple, but I'm glad to be back. If this is your first time here, we do this in the mornings. I usually say Monday through Friday. That's the typical schedule, but it's summertime. So we'll be around. Just go ahead and subscribe and follow wherever you happen to be watching right now, and you can catch us. And of course, the replays are here. You got a whole library of content that you can check out to get caught up on things in case you don't catch me live. But I'm glad you're here. We're starting the conversation with this prompt. When you're feeling anxious, what do you notice in your body? What do you notice in your body when you're feeling anxious? We want to take a little bit of the oomph out of the anxiety just by describing it as a physical sensation. And let's see what we have here. Coco says, all I notice is my leg bouncing at 100 miles an hour. Got that bouncing leg. My leg is bouncing right now. I looked at that. When I read that, Coco, my leg just got to bouncing. I can relate. I can definitely relate to that. Noble Ancient says, when I'm anxious, I feel the shakes of an adrenaline rush. Starting up. Okay, let me see if I can read the English language. Noble says, when I'm anxious, I feel the shakes of an adrenaline rush starting up, and then I become actively aware of my full 360-degree range of my environment. It's immediately noticeable and not good to feel. And Noble even went through the pain, took the pains to put the degree symbol in there. That's dedication. So I'm getting my characters in. So that feeling of heights, like a hyper arousal, doesn't feel great. It's overwhelming. Two-Faced Man says it's constant movement, high stimulation, shallow breathing, trouble swallowing. That hyper awareness of your surroundings is like hyper vigilance. Alexis Autumn Elf says, my breathing gets more rapid and I feel my chest tighten. Tightness in the chest. That's so disconcerting. It's like, man. Your body's trying to prepare you for something somehow. All right, let me see. I let the playlist run out. I apologize. We want to get the music going back. I know we like to keep the vibe going. Tightness in the chest. I noticed that. Tim says, good anxious just makes me feel butterflies. Bad anxious, it'd be all my shoulders and neck tight and such. So tightness in the shoulders and neck. Two-Faced Man says, for what, body? Everything's fine, dude. Chill. Yeah, sometimes it feels like an overreaction, or it's like there's a sense that there's danger in the environment. But many times the dangers or the things that we feel anxious about are symbolic rather than things that are actually going to cause you harm. They represent the cause of harm, and then you fill in the story around it. And the story that you fill in around it, it lets you know, it informs the way that you interpret the feelings in your body. The stories inform your interpretation of what you feel, because context matters. So let's say you working out and you pushing kind of hard, and your body, the way your body feels, it feels like if you just woke up feeling that way without any context, you would like be certain that you're about to die. But because you know that you're intentionally exerting, energy and working out, then you say, okay, this is just how this feels. The sensations are similar. Toothpaste Man says, I know. It's like, it's not danger. I'm fearful, but even when you're not in any real danger, I'm experiencing sort of this fear. So recognizing just those things and looking at why am I feeling this way? What is this trying to tell me? What is my body trying to tell me about the situation that I'm in right now? What do I need to know here? Because it's really all information. Your body's talking to you. What is it trying to say? Noble says, my anxiety is neither good nor bad. It's like a system check. It's that check engine light. Like, notice what's going on around you. And sometimes because that feeling is so uncomfortable, it can make us play a little bit smaller than we would. But when we share, each of us, as we share the things that we feel when we are in that anxious state, we can probably recognize that a lot of people feel the same things that we feel. And a lot of times people are feeling those things and they're still going about doing what they do because they realize that they aren't actually safe. And if I just kind of work through this, I'm going to be okay. Rather than freezing up, we can just breathe through it and then realize that, confirm the fact that we aren't in any real danger. It's just something that might not work out for us, but that we're still going to be okay. And that we're up for the challenges that are available for us to face. So let's think about this for a second. What's the blanket's the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now? Blanket's the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now. I'm going to reset the request box momentarily. I want to give a second just in case someone is still working on that piece. Noble just hit me with the non-GMO organic replay like. Appreciate that, Mr. Misunderstood. Thank you for joining us. We are moving on. We're switching over to our next prompt right now. Blanket's the most challenging thing I am dealing with right now. So look at, kind of scan your current experience. What's a challenge for you that you're dealing with? What's going on right now that you feel like is really, you know what? This is tough. This is the big one. And a lot of times those challenges that are pretty big, sometimes we'll kind of shy away from them because I don't know how to tackle this one. I'm not sure what to do with this one. Parzival Wolf, welcome in and welcome to Spoon. Thanks for joining us. We're just doing a couple prompts this morning, kind of getting back into the groove of multi-streaming and, working through session 301. I can already tell y'all, it's going to take a while for me to get back to, Like, this is uncomfortable right now. So, blank is the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now. Balance. Balance is the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now. I think that there's probably a relationship between with time and balance, um, and range of motion and balance, maybe. Miss Fire says F. What happened, Miss Fire? Did I cut you off? Um, I think if we zoom out enough and over a large enough span of time, the things that seem to be out of balance in the moment, they actually might be in balance overall. So you might be feeling as though there's some things that are falling apart and being neglected and aren't getting the immediate attention in a given moment, but you are investing more heavily in something that has a longer term implications, so that over the course of the weeks, months, years, things level out and everybody's better off for that investment that you made. I mean, I think it's also tied to seasonality, right? You have different phases in your life. So if you're at the point where you work, pursuing your education, for example, you're not putting as much time into earning and producing, but by investing an unbalanced amount of time and energy in the education season, when you focus and refocus on the earning season, you'll be more effective there. To need to eat or drink. How much am I going to eat or drink? How do I juggle these emotions? How much emotion is too much? How much is too little? Tim is looking for recipes, and I think that life is a little more artful than that. Um, there aren't any hard and fast answers. It's like those things where, you just kind of have to taste it, season it to taste. Everybody has their own palate. Nobody's going to work exactly for another person. So you just have to trust your palate. And I think sometimes we instinctively are influenced by other people's recipes. And because they think it's good and it works, if you try it and don't like it, you think something's wrong with you. No, it's not wrong. Nothing wrong with you. That recipe was designed for their palate, not yours. So only palate, I guess, understanding what it is that you like is a good way to kind of create your own recipe and make the adjustments. Some people have stuff in recipes that your body can't tolerate. Like you have an adverse reaction to some of the ingredients that people say are necessary. So if you put it in there the way it seems to be put in there on the advice of another person, or on the sort of based on the norm, what people do socially, you might get sick. Man, this don't feel right. Stomach hurt. I know I followed the recipe. I did what I was supposed to do, I thought, but yeah, you're having a negative reaction. So, yeah. Thanks for thanking yourself. Well, ancient is the challenged is the magnitude of my upcoming legal name change is the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now. I asked around for reaction purposes only and found some intriguing results. There again, just like I was saying before, that might not be other people's recipe. Say, what do you think? Just say hypothetically, I changed my name. How you feel about that? And then you get a myriad of reactions, a myriad of intrigues. Say your findings were disturbing. Oh, it's been sincerely positive. Okay, cool. Yeah, go for it, Noble. Go for it. Alexis, the challenge I'm dealing with right now is managing my health, both physical and mental. Managing my health, both physical and mental, is the most challenging thing I'm dealing with right now. Yeah, we got to get our mind and our body right before we can do anything for long. So, but you're up to the challenge. I believe in you. Rachel, good morning. Welcome in. It's good to see you. We in here talking about like that challenge, the most challenging thing right now. And I think the important part of this prompt, one important part of this prompt is dealing with, you know, if you're not dealing with it, I guess it's not, it's not even really a challenge yet. It's just a problem that's out there. But if you're facing up to it and working through it, that might be, yeah, please let me know if it sounding weird, I can make some adjustments. I appreciate your continuous feedback on the sound. Anytime it doesn't sound right, just let me know. It says split second hiccups. Okay. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it. No, Tim, I don't think it's just you. We'll see what we can do about it. Yeah, I think we will be back. We should be back now. Hopefully, it'll be a smoother. Okay. So we're talking about the challenge, the biggest challenges that we are facing right now. For Misfire, it is managing relationships. Managing relationships is the biggest challenge you're facing right now. All of them, including people I'm dating. Yeah, I guess you can set yourself up. You can set yourself up with some pretty complicated situations. And you have to be honest about what your real capacity is to manage everything. I mean, it's always a trade-off. Always a trade-off. So you have to figure out, hey, if you can't manage it, you have to make sure that it is worthwhile. Um, you don't want to make your life overly complicated. Because, it should be something that your relationships and connections that renew you and feed you rather than drain you. So, always stay checked in with yourself about what's valuable to you. Tim says, I had a great week last week though, and all the relationships had you filled up. So last week was an example of why it may be worth it to put in that extra effort. Tim's like, hey, self, you all right? About a 7. So the most challenging thing for Toothpaste Man is the job hunting. I got some decent leads though. Got some decent leads. There you go. It's a process. You got to stay committed to the process. Miss Fire, thank you so much for the spoons. Appreciate that. Gas Mask Pete, Starbird, thank you for joining us and welcome. We're talking about what's the most challenging thing that you're dealing with right now? What's going on with you? If you just got in, give you a chance to kind of grapple with that one. Noble says, disconnect from the negativity and find the kind that supports you. Again, I think it's also a matter of having looking at it from the right perspective in terms of time. When you're talking about that balance thing, if you're up too close, the closer you get to something, the more you can see the little moves that it's making, the more unbalanced it feels. But if you zoom out, you'll see that the balance is there from the right perspective. You might feel like you are losing. It might feel like you're kind of losing ground in your own life or losing yourself somehow. You're pouring into a relationship that doesn't seem to be reaping any benefits towards you, and it can be tired and draining. And then when you zoom out a little bit, you recognize and you notice that, well, you know what? This person did the same thing for me. They must have felt this way too when I was going through blank. Because sometimes we go through stuff in relationships and people support us and we kind of take it for granted. And then the moment they need something from us, they're like, oh, you're just so draining. Like, why are you like this? It's like, look, I'm working on stuff too. Like, Sometimes we forget. If we're honest with ourselves, we are less, we can move, we can forget about the time that we were in the situation that the other person was in and they were there for us. And we might be too quick to dismiss them when, maybe the balance has shifted a little bit. because we tend to be prisoners of the moment, and that's not necessarily well. It's good to be present in the moment, but don't be a prisoner. Have the ability to take a broader view. So Johnny says the challenge right now is passing the driver's license exam for a reason. I become stressed in the exam and I screw it up. So you're not the best test taker. Freeze up in the exam. I I know I did okay when I first got my license. I mean, the written press test wasn't a problem, but I failed the driving test because I, I was mixing up right and left. Starbird says you like my voice. Well, thank you, Starbird. Are enjoying the vibes here. Yeah, on my first driving test, I failed. I failed the road test because it left and right turns. He said take a left, and I took a right on the first one, and then after that, I mess it up every time. And honestly though, I guess you do need to know your left from right if you're driving, because they have the signs that say the signs say right and left, but they're typically oriented that way. But I get it. I came back and passed it. Tim says I hated having someone watch you drive. Johnny says this is the second time you didn't quite get it on the test. So you about to be I don't know how many times if there's like a limit on the number of attempts. But hopefully you don't run out of tries and I don't know, you might just have to be chauffeured around. Oh, you said there's no limit, they'll let you take it as many times as you want? Okay. Well, hey, don't worry about it then. That very fact alone should alleviate some of your anxiety around around doing it, because ain't no limits. You can take it as many times you need to. I guess you have to pay to take it, and that's a drag and it's time, but you could do it. So everybody go ahead and throw some green hearts in the chat for me. Rita's here. Noble says I'm age level 44. Oh man. Rachel, thank you so much for the like. Appreciate it. All right, let's see. Let's find the next prompt. All right, Rachel's got to go. Thank you for stopping through. You have a great day. So we're talking about the challenges. I think the great thing about going through our challenges is the new doors that open up. The new doors that open up for you when you find the courage to face the challenges. So the next prompt is, what excites you most about the future you can create? What excites you most about the future that you can create? We'll open up the request box for you. Facing down challenges and getting on the other side of the things that are standing in your way. That's something to get excited about, because you've proven to yourself an ability to do something that maybe you didn't think you could do. And now the reward for facing a challenge is the ability to chase or face even more challenges, or bigger challenges, or more rewarding challenges. Because typically, the bigger the challenges that you face, the bigger the reward on the other side of it. So you can sort of gradually enhance the quality of your life, the level of your contribution, by facing and mastering ever increasing levels of challenge. So the exciting thing for Corey is moving out in November. Excited about that. Yeah, there's always something excited about going to a new place. Toothpaste Man said, I can't stay in one place. I think a lot of people like having moved, but not a lot of people like the process of moving. There's something, comfortable about being settled. Miss Ma'am is here. It's been a minute. Yes, it has. I hope that things have been going well for you. Tim says, I hate moving. I cried leaving my old place. Miss Ma'am says, nope, hasn't been going that great. Well, I'm glad that you survived it. Oh no. Oh no. Definitely sorry to hear that. Wow. Yeah, been on a sort of a downward spiral, trying to get yourself back together though. Yeah, sometimes you just have to, all you can do is just do the best you can to take it day by day. Get a little bit together as you can. I know you came in and we're talking about things that are exciting about the future. And sometimes it's hard to connect with what's exciting when you have such a, when you're experiencing loss, it feels like that's all that there is. But that's not the case. So you said you're gonna make a start by just coming here and trying to be in a positive space. Well, I'm grateful that you value this space and you see it as a place that you can come to work on some things and to be around supportive folks. There definitely are supportive folks here. And folks who may not have gone through exactly what you've gone through, but nevertheless have a level of empathy and experience that hopefully you can So to lean on, he said, being here makes me remember my goals and dreams. It's good to have a reminder. It's like, yeah, what is it that I was trying to do? Sometimes we can forget what even it was that we were here for. So yeah. And that's sort of what this prompt is about. The things that's exciting about the future that you can create. Something that can give you the opposite of an anxious feeling and excitement, a positive expectancy. So Noble says, the biggest thing that excites me about the future I can create is the single opportunity to finally reach full potential and unlock my ultimate dream goal to match. Alexis says, the fact that with enough work, I can eventually become the best version of myself. That's exciting. If I'm willing to put in the work, I can become the best version of myself. So growth is our capacity to grow is something to be excited about. Every little thing that, in every little case that we get a little bit better, it gives us a little bit of, it's like, you know what? Now that I did that, I can do this. So there's a connection between the challenges that we overcome and the level of hope and the level of belief in ourselves to continue to overcome and create even more abundance and prosperity in our life, in our situation. So just knowing that if I do the work, I'm gonna be all right. All right, let's take a look at, let's take a look at the next thing. So Miss Ma'am was here, I think in November, December. I think November, December time frame was the last time I saw you. Tim, thanks so much for the like. All right. Okay. So the next prompt is talking about a specific way of growth, a specific type of growth through learning. So what's something that you learned that stands out in your mind? What's something that you recently learned that stands out in your mind? Our path towards creating the future self, the exciting thing about the excitement that comes from creating a future, it comes through learning and growth. So what's something that you recently learned that stands out to you? I'm going to reset the request box, but we do have one lingering reply from the previous. What excites you about the future? The self that you can create. And for Tim, is those body goals going to be fine. Tim's getting that body right. Getting that body right. So Tim is currently stretching, finishing the workout, getting a good stretch in. In my Meg voice, my body yaddy yaddy yaddy. Miss Bam says I'm getting a little tummy. Well, I mean, hey. I'm not going to comment on anything. So yeah, let us know. What have you learned recently? What have you learned recently that stands out in your mind? All right. Tim says, ain't nothing wrong with little tummy. Yeah, I'll leave that to y'all to talk about. I guess just making sure that you are, making sure that you are not beating yourself up as you are working on improving your body. You're not doing it. You're not doing it in a way that is counterproductive to your, you ain't got to, you don't have to beat yourself up. You can just make a choice to decide how you want to live and the way that you want to show up. So right now we're talking about something we recently learned that stands out. Alexis says, accept yourself for now while being excited for future changes. All right, things that we've learned. Noble Ancient says, I recently learned that life is nothing like what you expected at first as time crawls forward and shows you the reality of your adventure and no one else's. The reality of your adventure. This is your path that you're following. And it seems like a theme that keeps coming up, like being true to your path. So learning for Alexis is, I learned my orca friend is basically princess of her pod. Her mom recently died and now she's trying to be the queen, so she is becoming more sassy. She was born at SeaWorld and is 33 now. 33. Born and raised at SeaWorld. And she bucking up a little bit because of the I hear you. That is interesting. So Tim says, I learned last night I should shut up. Oh man. I learned last night that my mouth I need to watch my mouth. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Corey says, I learned that moving out is going to help me. I've had tarots approve of my decision. So you got some confirmation. Says it's going to be a good thing for me to move out. Misfire says, people don't really recognize their privileges. Is something I learned recently. Yeah, people don't recognize their privileges. I think it's the nature of a privilege that it is something that's taken for granted, and in so many cases. Yeah, you have to really be tuned in to notice. Miss Ma'am says that working out's helped before. It made you feel good, just kind of scared to take that first step. I hear you. It's hard to get back into it if it's been a while, but Tim is offering some good advice as someone who has recently sort of taken up a workout habit and reached a point where it gets to a place where you don't feel right if you don't work out, and once you cross that threshold of, if I don't do this, I'm not going to feel great, then that's a great place to be. Johnny says, recently I learned that there's nothing to learn in life. Everything is a perspective. We create our own reality by the power of our mind. We create our own reality by the power of our mind. I guess there is probably one thing to learn, at least, Johnny, and that's how to drive. You gonna learn that? You gonna learn how to drive? Or you just gonna create a reality with the power of your mind that lets you teleport from place to place so you don't have to drive? Oh man, there is something to be learned. Alexa says, create the reality that you already have the license. So just ride dirty. Just ride. You don't need no license. Just when they pull you over, you say, look, in this reality that I've created, I have a license already. So, I mean, Oh, I didn't read yours yet. You good. Gas Mask Pete says, I recently learned that this whole love thing probably isn't for me, but I've gained a new appreciation for my solitude, so it's all good. So I recently learned that this love ain't for me, baby. This ain't for me. But I'm good. Well, I mean, that's a lesson I think that we learn in phases. I think we learn and unlearn that over and over again over the course of a lifetime. There are times when we feel like, oh, this love thing, I don't know if it's for me. But then it shows up again. And you're like, you know what? This ain't too bad. I mean, I guess it's good to have the independence where you don't feel like you need that. But, I don't know. You're going to be riding around in that Crown Vic. You're going to pull up somewhere and catch somebody's eye and be like, you know what? Get in the car. Let's go for a ride. Miss Ma'am says, I've learned that no matter how hard you try, the mistakes always get noticed first before the hard work. The mistakes get noticed first. Like if you messed up, that's the part they pay attention to. Well, the good thing is, and a lot of times, and in a lot of cases, the only one who knows that you messed up is you. Because some people don't know what it's supposed to look like anyway. But, Jovi is here. What's happening, Jovi? It's good to see you. Gas Mask Pete said, I met a girl and told them I don't date and they pushed it. It's not happening again. Well, you know what it is, Pete? It was the wrong girl. Like, if you were, yeah, it's the wrong one. Oh, the right one will pull up on you. You haven't met all of them yet. Oh no. I mean, maybe you impervious. Maybe you at the point where you are impervious. Gas Mask Pete says, truth be told, man, I don't need any girl. I needed myself when I was trying to run from that. Yeah. We're not even talking about needs so much. Now I realize the importance of my relationship to myself, and that's where my focus is at. Yeah. So Corey is in that blanket fort, listening in. All right. Don't run from you. Be the you run to. All right. All right, so let me take the second here now. Pete is run down the wins that Pete has racked up since he got out of that relationship. He said, I got a car, got my license, back in school. Like, I got all this time on my hands. I got all this time on my hands. I'm leveling up. I hear you. All right, so I'm going to take this second now just to give a peace out to the folks watching over on YouTube and Twitch and all the other places. We're going to wrap up this portion of the stream now. And we'll be back again soon. Thanks for being here and checking us out. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. I'm going to hang out with the VIPs over in Spoon for a little bit longer. So, yeah. Jovi's like, yo, ladies, y'all better find you a Pete. Better find you a Pete.